Good morning, my app are back. Here's the plan. Well, before that, I asked you yesterday who of the original crew was missing. And 2 of you got it right. Drew, NC61, correct. Scott Bella, correct. Although it was, I think, your 5th submission that was the right one, but you got it right. Original Rico. Original Rico has been relocated and I imagine is pretty happy about it because apparently the new build is 3 houses from where he lives. So it's going to save him diesel. A couple of others, Anton Hemming. Yes, Manny's missing, both of them, months ago, and you know it. I like the smiley face at the end of your answer. And thank you for everybody else who had a stab at it. Okay, here is the plan. The rush to finish before the end of this month is continuing. A lot of focus remains today on cabinets and painting. There are other bits going on. There's still work in the home theatre. And of course, there's still more electrical stuff going on and blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah. They're really giving it a shot to try and get us in by the 1st of December at the latest. Hopefully the 28th of November, which is when son Alex is due to arrive. So, with that rush going on, what could possibly go wrong? In the dirty kitchen, Painter Willie still working on finishing surfaces for all these cabinets. Looks like there is still a lot to do in here. In the gym and spa, our 2 new painters are working in here. I am told they may only be here for a week. One of them is Hunter, I'm told. The other, this gentleman in front of me, I don't know yet. We'll try and figure it out before they leave. And speaking of Hunter, take a dizzy pill. Working at the other end. Right, the guys have very kindly just switched off the music that was going on in the home theatre, so we have Erwin working in here, and as yesterday, we have Oliver under the ever watchful gaze of Manny. So guys are still working on the framing, and then we'll have to put in the speaker cables and then put in the insulation material, and then we're kind of a bit stuck. I'm not sure how much further we can take this room until I know the size of all the speakers that are going to go in here, because all of them will require cutouts in the insulation. That might be something we could do after putting a wall covering on, maybe, but I'm a bit concerned about doing that. So it may well be that this room, when the build is finished, is not going to look very good, and we just close the doors and forget about it for a long time. We'll wait and see. Painting in the pantry. Someone should write a song called that. Continues. It's starting to look rather nice and clean. I don't know how many more layers of preparation are still to go, if any. I'll have to check with the engineer. Where are we up to? In fact, no, I can see it's not finished, but it's getting a lot closer. More painting of doors, and again, kind of a very hands-on approach to doing this. Very touchy-feely. Papa Jess has, for the moment, moved out of the bedrooms. Now putting outlets downstairs. In this particular case, we're in the dining room. So he'll be working his way around the house. Cabinet design discussions continue. My beautiful Asawa just showed me the space I've got for my clothes, and I said, there is no way I'm going to get as much space as you're telling me. She's put all her stuff in here, I suspect there won't be much room for mine. Back at Sabrina's bathroom, this is where Singing Rico, who was just singing that he needs somebody, He was working in here last night with a little bit of help from Richard, and whatever they were doing has been removed again. So still quite a bit more work to be done within these wash basin cabinets, the Wallackers, in all of the rooms really. None of them are close to being finished with the cabinetry inside. In Aldrin's room, we've got Ernie, again working on skirting boards, baseboards, and Carlito cleaning up. Did have a little conversation with the engineer this morning to say if there is any overrun in terms of time beyond the end of November, the order in which they need to finish these rooms are the master bedroom, George's bedroom, first on the right, Alex's bedroom here on the left because he'll be the next one to arrive. The two at the end, Jack and Sabrina's rooms, they're the rooms that if we have to, they can be done last, because there's an extra almost 3 weeks between Alex arriving and then Jack and Sabrina getting here. So there's a bit more time if it's necessary. They can leave those till the end. There is a shed load more woodworking needing to be done. So at the moment we've got Richard and Elson cutting pieces to size. So much of this still to be finished. And even when it's installed, you can see from the work in the dirty kitchen and elsewhere that the finishing on the cabinetry takes a considerable amount of time. It's going to be a real struggle. I think I'm going to keep saying it. It's going to be a real struggle to be done by the end of this month. We're coming up towards 2 o'clock and everywhere is painting. Painting. Here on the door going out from the kitchen right now, plain brown. My understanding is it isn't going to stay that way. Watch this space. Papa Jess is whizzing around the house, putting in outlets. He's actually replacing the original screws that came with the outlets with better ones, if I understand correctly. So a little added bonus for us. I think Erwin's testing out the acoustics of the home theatre room. The music is blasting out of this thing. I have no idea if you can hear this, but wow, it's loud in here. Amongst all of his other talents, Manny is also a master cabinet maker. Well, he knows how to make cabinets anyway, and they look pretty good to me. In my book, that makes him a master. So many drawers lying around here now, and still more to come, I'm sure. In the master bedroom walk-in closet, we have 2 cabinets in place. A little while ago, my wife had a look at this and said, it's not big enough in here. I hope she was kidding. But 2 in, more to go. Sing Enrico has got the drawer in the bottom of Sabrina's Wallacker and is now working on the fixtures in Jack's room. This is an engineering solution to not being allowed to wear slippers upstairs. The engineer has made himself some very soft slippers. We're coming up towards 4:30. These 4:30 updates are a little bit less relevant than they were, given that most of the crew is going to be continuing for another probably hour and a half. But firstly, if I leave it too much longer, the light starts to fade indoors and it gets a little hard to film everything. And secondly, if nothing else, I am a man of tradition. I think as we all get a little older, we don't like change quite so much. I've started with 4:30s. I'm going to continue with 4:30s. And continuing with what is now a tradition, we're going to once again go back to Mega Wigger for his contribution today. And this is a follow-up to the question I posed yesterday of who was missing from the regular crew. He says, "Good morning, Mike. I think it's original Rico that is missing. I think he's off doing some Christmas shopping, because just last week I told him that Amazon is the best place for Christmas shopping. He just called me from Brazil. And with that, let's go and see what's been going on. The dirty kitchen is often my first stop because it's closest when I come in from the back of the house. Sanding, painting continues. It's one of those things that I suspect I could put the same clip up again tomorrow and maybe even the next day, and nobody would notice the difference, and then suddenly it'll all come together. And you never know, tomorrow might be that someday, but for now, still looks vaguely similar to what it did this morning and what it did yesterday and the day before. So much preparation on these surfaces. Could probably say something similar about the pantry. The amount of work that's gone onto these shelves, and at the moment the walls, is just mind-blowing. It's just days and days and days of effort. They're going to look spectacular when they're finished. Well, they're not. They're going to look like white shelves. But I'll know, we will know, the effort that went into getting them to that final finished status. The doors heading out of the kitchen. These move a little faster. There is kind of a pattern on there, but I don't think it is at all the final pattern. I think that's just the result of the stage of painting they've got to. So I still believe this is going to change quite substantially before they're done. Manny is piling up the drawers. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can see 8 just here already, and there's loads more still being done, and some have already gone in. No idea how many there'll be in total by the end of the build. And if you can sense or see a little bit of smoke in the background, there's a little bit of a fire going on, just burning some rubbish. So apologies if that's getting in the way. I'm sure it's not too bad. It smells quite bad, but you can't smell it. So I just asked the engineer, what's the news? Thinking he's going to update me on things going on inside the house. And instead of that, he said, we're going to eat. They're going to eat. This is Sabrina's Wabaka, and it's got a nailed on front panel now. Not sure what that's about. I'll maybe find out later. This is clearly very temporary. Well, Singing Rico's just explained to me, it's not temporary. I mean, the holes in it need fixing and a lot of finishing done, but it's one front opening door, as you see it now, open. It will open more than that. And then there's a second drawer above, just immediately below the granite top, which once it's closed, you can access the bottom drawer, and once it's open, you can't, but you can access the top one. That's rather neat. I'd really like to see it when it's done, so we can see how efficient it really is. I like the concept. Rich is working on the third cabinet for the master bedroom walk-in closet. This one goes on the far wall at the end, and then there's still some corner bits to be put in on top of that. Ernie, guess what? Sanding, still sanding here, this time in Alex's bedroom, moving towards putting on the final coat of paint. I don't think we're anywhere close to that yet, but moving in that direction. You don't often see toilets in a living room. Still waiting to be installed. So one of these is for the small bathroom off the side of the sunroom, and the other two are for the master bathroom. In the home theatre, the wall behind me now is fully framed. And we've got, what's that? 2/3 of this wall done as well. Still got all of the back wall, hasn't been touched yet. That's it for now. Before I go, a quick update on the ongoing saga of fibre internet connection. So, If you haven't heard any of this yet, here we go. A month ago, yes, we can do that in 2 working days. 3 or 4 days ago, no, can't do it at all. Yesterday, yes, we can do it. We've just got to open the ports. We've got the cable. Today, we don't have the cable. I have no idea whether they can do this. I've just gone back and said, I'm confused. Watch this space. A couple of you have already mentioned Starlink. Starlink might be an option, except my understanding is the latest announcements have said it's delayed until mid-2023, and the pricing is steep. It's currently $600 US, I believe, for the equipment and the sign-up, and then it's the equivalent of $110 US a month for service fees. That's a lot of money here for internet. So, fingers crossed, I get yet another change of heart from Converge. We'll see. Anyway, we'll come back in a little bit over an hour, just as a final wrap up, and see if there is anything that we can film in the gloom. It's about 5:40, and I'm not going to show you the sunset. But back on the White House, we've got the Builder Brothers again. So Irwin's up top, once again adding more silicone and then putting on the plastic ridge cap, I suppose it is. They've used that all around every connection. And inside, Elson's just doing a bit of clean up of the floor, part of the levelling process. This is the hallway leading into the dirty kitchen, and in this hallway and in the dirty kitchen is the only place where there are any lights on in the house. So it's definitely too late to film anywhere but here. So let's just have a quick look. Is there any noticeable difference in here? Well, maybe. I think there's a cleaner white starting to appear on these cabinets. So that's all we can do inside. There's nothing else to show outside. So we will call it a day. I'll have to reconsider whether these final wrap-ups are worth it. Maybe from now on we just do the 4:30-ish and call it a day, and then pick up the following morning. But for today, that's all she wrote. See you tomorrow. Well, maybe one little look. Right, definitely. See you tomorrow.